Lindsey Halligan is the special assistant to the president, and she's spearheading the effort to revamp the Smithsonian and its contents. Lindsey, welcome back to National Report. Reviewing all the history showcased in the Smithsonian is a huge task. Can you share an update on what progress the White House has made so far?
Yeah, so we sent a letter to leadership at the Smithsonian just requesting a review of all of the exhibits that are currently shown to the American public to ensure that they're not pushing a political or ideological narrative. And we met with the leadership at the Smithsonian yesterday, and it was really productive and helpful. And I think that we're going to be working together, and it's going to be very collaborative, and it's going to be part of making D.C. beautiful.
And to Lindsey's point, in a statement from the White House, we'll read some of that. It says, quote, "This initiative aims to ensure alignment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionals, remove divisive or partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions." It goes on to say, quote, "Our goal is not to interfere with the day-to-day operations of curators and staff, but rather to support a broader vision of excellence that highlights historically accurate, uplifting, and inclusive portrayals of America's heritage," end quote. Can you expand on that and really what many can see? Look, many people love going to D.C., going to the Smithsonian, or learning about it, you know, in grade school and what really is in there. Can you expand on what the president wants to see inside the Smithsonian and ultimately others as well?
Of course, yeah. So the president wants to see more positivity, more patriotism. We live in the greatest country in the world, and our Smithsonian institution, which is really the foundation of our education system as a whole and is over 70% funded by taxpayers, should reflect American exceptionalism. And a good example, you know, a lot of the placards that I've seen when I've gone through the various museums, almost every single placard next to an artifact pushes an ideological or political narrative. A good example is in the American History Museum. There's a Change Your Game exhibit, which features the biological male Leah Thomas, who has been competing against women in swimming. And it asks visitors if gender testing is fair, and it suggests that gender testing is discriminatory and humiliating to those who are challenging gender norms. And I think instead of that, when over 80%, well over 80% of Americans believe that biological males should not be competing in women's sports, I think the Smithsonian Institution, which is over 70% funded by taxpayers, as I said previously, should really take note of that. And I think it should reflect the values of the American people instead of pushing ideology that Americans overwhelmingly do not support. And I think, I guess, 98% of the population should not be forced to accommodate or adjust their morals to make less than 2% of the population comfortable.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.